over today is the basics of Gmail. So some of these things you may already know, but listen carefully because there may be something that I throw out there that you thought you knew that you didn't know. So we also have, if any of you are classified personnel, we also are having another very similar, in fact, it's the very same thing, session. We have sessions going on the first and I believe it's the first and second Fridays of the month. You'd have to go onto the sched to check out the whole schedule, but we have, it's called Classified Champions of Google. And basically we're going to be using the same information during Classified Champions of Google that we use for Google for All. So Google for All is just a little bit different because it also includes teachers or anyone else who's not classified. But it doesn't matter, anyone can go to any of these and you can use either one of these URLs, the bit.lys, right, to get into the slide deck. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started because there's a lot to go over, a lot. So here we go. Okay. So I'm skipping over some slides because some slides are for the Champions of Google.
Laurie,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you want to record?
Oh yeah, I thought I was recording. I thought it was auto record. Yeah, it's recording.
Okay. Okay, good. I just can't see that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Oh, and Darcy, by the way, I'm using the spotlight thing. So, which is kind of exciting on Zoom, but we'll talk about that later. Darcy and I will talk about that later. Anyway, so this is a Google for All session overview. Very simply, this is what we're going to be doing every single Wednesday morning. We're going to spend the first 35 minutes with a presentation. Yep, it's going to be a traditional presentation. The best thing for you to do right now is have your notes next to you, be ready to go. You will have this slide deck, no problem. You can already get into that. It's on our website. I've given you the bit.lys for that. The bit.ly is down below. You may want to write that down. So it's bit.ly/ and it's very important that you use those capital letters. So capital W, capital C, capital G, OOGLE, capital F, OR, capital A, LL. Okay. So it's WCC Google for All, basically. So for the first 35 minutes, I'm going to be doing a presentation. You need to take notes and you need to write down your questions because we'll take questions at the very final 10 minutes, okay? There's also a feedback form that we'd like you to complete so that we know how we can improve our work here. So we have some agreements and hoping that you all agree to this. The agreements are that you're going to embrace the struggle, right? Because the struggle is real. We want you to welcome help and not just help from us because you can write us an email to ask us a question, but it may take a while for us to get back to you. We want you to believe that you know more than you think. This is very important. And we want you to learn at least one new thing. So we want you to go away today knowing at least one new thing. If you're going to push yourself and want to know 3 new things, that's great too. But we really want you to learn at least one new thing today. So facilitators today, we have Darcy. Darcy, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm the elementary ed tech coach. I've been in the district for 16 years now, and I'm just happy to support Lori in your learning.
And I'm Laurie Roberts. Those are our email addresses, by the way, so you can get in touch with us if you have any very specific questions that you can't wait for the answer for. And we're both ed tech coaches. This is my 25th year with the district. And I am a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a runner, I'm an eater, big time eater, and I love to make things. So that's me in a nutshell. Again, here we have at the very bottom of the screen, bottom right-hand corner, we have those 2 bit.lys. You can use either one, doesn't matter. Basically goes to the same information, so you can use either one. All right, so we're going to be going over several things during this series. Today is Gmail. Okay, that's all we're going to be talking about. We're just going to be talking about the basics of Gmail today. This is the very long list of the things that we're going to be going over. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm looking at the time, it's 9:05. I have 30 minutes to go over all of these things. So I may not cover the last, I think it's 3. which are create a custom signature, set vacation responder. I think I have one more down there too that I can't see because I have a bar in the way. Anyway, yeah, schedule send. So those last three, I may not go over, but I have very specific instructions on those slides for you so that if you want to try that out later, try it out later. One thing I want to say about custom signature, it's not a handwritten signature. Okay, it's just, that's the word that we use in email for something that just ends up at the bottom of all of your emails, and it makes them look very professional. It's like a business card, right? But it's at the bottom of your email. It's not an actual signature. So that's the one thing I do want to tell you. So I'm going to go over some Google basics. What happened? Here we go. Okay. So these are some things that you find with Google just across the board. And when I talk about Google, I'm talking about Gmail, I'm talking about Google Drive, I'm talking about Google Calendar, I'm talking about Google Docs, all of those things. So across the board, right, there's some icons that they use regularly. One of them is the waffle. Yes, I use words that are food words because I love food. So click on the waffle to go to other Google apps. So when you see the waffle, it's a 3x3. This is the waffle right here. You're going to click on it to go to other Google apps such as Docs, Calendar, Drive, okay? And then we also have the kebab, right? Because it looks like a kebab, food on a stick, right? Or a hamburger. And those are for other menus. So if you're looking at the screen and you're not seeing what I need to see, it doesn't matter. You probably just need to look for either the kebab or the hamburger, and you'll be able to see those things, okay? So there's usually a question mark somewhere. Now, this moves around, this question mark I found. Sometimes it's the bottom right-hand corner, sometimes it's the upper right-hand corner, but the question mark is where you can go to get resources to help you. It's also a great place where you can send feedback to Google. So if you think of something that, ooh, Google needs to know about this, this is where you click to send them feedback. And they're actually pretty good about their feedback. It may take them a while, but a lot of times they're not going to get back to you personally, but those changes will come. There's also the gear. The gear is pretty universal to mean settings. So any kind of settings, and I'm going to go over that in just a moment. One thing I do want to go over, I'm going to go back to this Gmail slide, is that we have resources here for you. One of them is the Gmail help site, which is run by Google. It's fantastic. Seriously. If you have a question, that's where you go. And by the way, when you're using Google, if you just go to Google and you put up in the search bar, you can type your whole question. You want to be as specific as possible when you use Google. Type out your whole question and you'll get some answers somehow. So just wanted to share that with you. So there's also a Gmail cheat sheet that I have linked here as well with some nice pointers. All right, so I'm going to give you a very quick tour of what the Gmail screen looks like. Okay, so here's a hamburger. I will tell you in Gmail that the hamburger is different, and I will show you that in just a moment. There's a search bar. There's the help, right, with the question mark. There's settings. There's the waffle. Okay, and basically down the left side, you see a nice little menu. Those are the types of email. So everything goes into your inbox, basically, but these are like other ways of marking them. They're starred, maybe they're the ones that you've sent. Important. Now this is something I want to tell you about the important ones, is that Google decides what's important to you based on how you have treated other emails. So you have no say in that. That's an algorithm that they use. So just leave that alone, fine. That's based on how you're using Google or how you're using Gmail. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and show you that screen live. All right, so here is, let me go back to my inbox, it's loading. Okay, so there are a couple things I wanted to show. I realized that this morning that I don't actually show in the slides. One of the things is, a lot of times I open my Gmail in the morning and there are a lot of messages from companies trying to sell me things, right? So for instance, I know for a fact this Motorola Solutions, that's garbage. Well, I can either go through every single one of them and hit the garbage can, like right here. See when I move my move my cursor over, I can hit the garbage can, or easier, if I click in the box, I do this every morning. Okay, that's garbage. That's garbage. This is garbage. Probably read that one later. I'll probably read that one later. That's garbage. So I have 4 that are, you know, from vendors, and I don't really want to read them or bother with them or have them mucking up my whole Gmail. I'm going to go ahead and now I've clicked on it. Those are the ones I've checked. They've turned blue. And now I'm going to go up and I'm going to click on the garbage can. Goodbye. Just so you know about the garbage can, things go into the trash. They stay there for 30 days. If you don't look at them in 30 days, they go forever. So the trash can is sort of like purgatory, but purgatory has a timestamp. So 30 days in purgatory in the trash, and then it's out forever. All right. So the one thing I did want to share, let me close these up here. You see how I'm just clicking on these little arrows to collapse these things so I can see everything here. If I click on this hamburger, I told you it was different. If I click on this hamburger, it collapsed this whole thing. Now, when I move my cursor down, it shows it to me again, but I personally like to have that open. Okay, fantastic. Let me go on back. All right. Next thing, let me look at the time. All right. So I'm going to talk about settings because this is how you set the stage, make it easier for you to look at. And these are all things that you can do on your own time. And you can just check them out. You're not going to break anything. Okay. I'm going to say this. I say this a lot. Click around. You're not going to break anything. If you figure out how to break it, then maybe you need to be working for Google. Consider that. All right. So let me show you about the quick settings. There are several things within the quick settings, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you live. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on settings, which is a gear. Remember, settings, always a gear. I'm going to click on settings. Move something over here. All right. And I'm not going to click on see all settings. Now, some of the things that I tell you about later, you do want to see all settings. But right now, I just want to look at the quick settings. That's plenty for me right now. So first off, density. I'm going to show you, this is really cool. If I click around on these, so I'm on default. If I click on comfortable, did you see what it did? I don't know if you saw that. Let's see again. Default. Do you see there are attachments here, right? When I click on comfortable, I don't see the attachments. They're there, but I have to open up the message in order to get to them. So now, like, you know, I personally prefer default. Let me show you what compact looks like. Okay, take a look. This is comfortable. If I click here, compact, it squishes it all down. Now, I personally, my older eyes cannot take that. I'm already wearing glasses. I don't need this. This is too much for me. I'm going to click on default again because that's what I prefer. I like to see, right, in this preview that there are attachments. All right, so theme. I'm not going to click around on this. This theme is just a basic yellow. Okay, you can pick a nice fancy theme if you want. If you click on view all, you get this box with all these different themes. Go ahead, check it out, decide on something you like. Maybe for upcoming spring, you want to have these lovely flowers, the cherry blossoms. It's up to you, right? For summer, you could have this wonderful beach one. Okay, that is up to you. You're the only one who sees this, right? You're the only one. No one else sees this. I'm going to go ahead and close this box here. I'm going to go back to the quick settings. All right. All right, inbox type. So I like the default. You can also set it up so on your inbox, you see the important ones first, regardless of time, regardless of when they came in. The unread first, the starred first, priority inbox. These are all different things. If I were you, I would stick with default until you have used a lot of Gmail and you realize what you want to see first. Reading pane. Okay, I'm going to show you this. This is no split. I don't have any split in my reading pane. This is the reading pane right here. If I click on right of box, what I get is, if I click here, it opens it up to the right. I personally don't, this is my, again, this is personal, right? You get to pick. So write a box or below inbox. These are the same, except that one is to the right and one is below. I personally like no split. That's just me. And then the last thing I want to show you is conversation view. This is really important. I think you should turn this on, because what this does is it bunches all of your messages that have the same subject together so that you can see the entire conversation. So for instance, here's a message. This is the first one. I wrote it, right? Sonia then wrote back to me, and Kristen also wrote back to me. So I can see them all together. If I don't have conversation view on, then I'm going to see all those as separate Gmails, separate messages. So that could get kind of messy. I really highly suggest that you choose conversation view. That's an important one. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close that. Go back to the inbox. And I'm going to open this up again. And okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is composing reply all. I'm not going to go over how to compose, because that is a big fat button in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, right? And you go ahead and you click on that, another box opens up and you write your message and you hit send. Simple. Okay. But I want to talk about replying and reply all and how those are different from each other. This is actually very important, because they kind of hide the reply all. Reply is very obvious. Reply all is sort of hidden. And I want to talk about the difference. So replying is you're going to reply to the sender. No matter what, reply is reply to the sender. Reply all is replying to all the people that the message was sent to. Now, I really want to emphasize the fact that if you get a fat email or fat message with a lot of people on that message, you really want to think 2-3 times before you hit reply all. If it's a smaller group of people, that's fine, but oftentimes there are messages that are sent to very large groups of people, whole departments, maybe 2 or 3 whole departments, depending on who the person is and who they need to contact. But oftentimes when you're replying, you're not really needing to reply to every single person in that. So really think about that. So I'm going to show you a couple of things that will help you with this. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Hello. There we go. Okay. Here I am back in Gmail, and I'm going to pick something. I'll go back to the same one. Okay. You will know when you get a message who it's sent to. So here, good example here. This is from Kristen. So her name is in bold. That's the sender. And it was sent to Sonia, me, Rachel, and Darcy. So it was sent to all of us. So I may want to just send the message back to Kristen. So if I just want to send it back to Kristen, I click on this arrow that's pointing to the left. That's the reply button. So if I click here, I get a box below. It says it's going to Kristen Hardy. I can go ahead and type in my message and send it. I'm going to click on the garbage can here because I'm not going to do anything about this right now. Okay. Now, if I wanted to send a message, and this is what she did, she actually did a reply all and sent it to everyone because she wants everyone to know that we're getting this message. So I'm going to click on the kebab, right? Kebab, reply to all. When I click on that, the difference is I get the longer list here. Okay, so that's the difference between reply and reply all. Let me go back. So that's very basic. Reply all. Reply just goes to the sender because there's only one sender. And reply all goes to everyone on there. Now, forwarding. What's the difference between forwarding, CCing, BCCing? So forwarding is you're taking an existing message that maybe someone was not on and you are sending it on to other people. This is really great I use this a lot when a teacher maybe sends me a message, asks me a question. I don't know the answer. I need to get help. So what I do is I will often take that message and I will forward it to someone who I know has the answer. Okay. So, and just so you know, the forwarding, that button is under that same kebab where reply all is. In fact, it's the button right below reply all. So that's what forwarding does. Now, when you do that, the sender, unless you are putting the sender in that new forward, they don't know that you forwarded it. Okay. So just keep that in mind. CCing. So this is different, right? And I have also used this when I have a question that I don't know how to answer. Someone has messaged me. CC actually does stand for carbon copy. So those of you who've been around for a while, you probably remember what carbon copies were and what that machine smelled like. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but it had a very certain smell of the ink. Anyway, but CC stands for carbon copy. So this is the way that you can send a message, include people that maybe it's not to them, but you're including them. So oftentimes I will have my boss will ask me, okay, can you please ask a person this question, but make sure you CC me, right? And I'm sure you've learned, many of you have learned this already. That gives your message a little more weight if a manager is included, right? So CC and the person who receives the message will see that CC. So where is CC? And let me talk really quickly about BCC as well. BCC is a blind carbon copy. And that means that the recipients don't see that you are sending this copy to someone. Yes, it's sneaky, but why is it useful? I'm going to explain. There are a couple reasons why it's useful. One thing is that, for instance, if you receive a message from someone that is maybe, you know that you need to get your manager involved, but maybe you don't need, this could be something sticky. You need to have someone else, you need to let someone else know that this is happening. So my perfect example is maybe an angry parent has sent you a message and you want to reply to them and you want your principal to know that you are replying to them. Okay. So what you can do is you can BCC that person, BCC your principal or your manager on that reply. That recipient, angry parent, is not going to see that you are including your principal. Okay, so that's one way. The other way is if you're going to send a message to, let's say, 15, 20 people or more, you can include all of them in the BCC, and then that way they are unable to reply all. So I do this a lot. I'm sending a big message to all the tech teacher leaders, and I will make it a BCC so that they can't reply all. So that when they reply, they're only replying to me. That's what I want. Okay, so it's BCC can also be used in a way to control who is going to get any replies. All right, let me show you where that is. Okay, so basically I'm just going to keep this one open. Let's say I want to copy my boss on this so she sees it. I click around anywhere around the names of the recipients and I get this, and this is really nice. It actually shows me that these people are already CC'd. If I want to include someone else in the CC, I just click here, cursor comes up, I type in their email address. If I want to create a BCC, I click here, and then I see the full thing, right? Who it's from, who it's to, who is copied on it, and who is blind copied on it. Okay, so that is that. Moving right along, I think we're we're doing okay on time. So in about 9 minutes, I'm going to stop doing all this talking and you can ask questions. All right. So next thing, there are a lot of things here. Attaching or inserting files. Okay, we're going to take a deep breath on this one. There are a couple of different ways for you to attach or insert files, right? Two ways. You can either include files from your hard drive, right? That means you're attaching them. So what do I mean by your hard drive? What is living on your computer? That's on your hard drive, okay? So you can attach a file from your hard drive. You would use, and I'm going to show you where this toolbar is in just a moment. There's a toolbar at the bottom of the new message, and it is it's a paper clip. So it's like you're literally paper clipping this file to this message. So you can attach a file from your hard drive using the paper clip, or you can insert a file from your Google Drive. If you're someone who is using, and I sincerely hope you are, using Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, you can insert the file from Google Drive, and you're not even going to mess with your hard drive at all, okay? So this is a very fancy toolbar. There are oops, did not mean to do that. There are several things, right? And I'm going to show them to you live right now. Here we go. Close this one up. I'm going to pretend like I am composing a new message. Okay, so, oh, by the way, this is the signature. This whole thing is my signature. Okay, name, what I do, a couple of things I have, a couple books I'm reading. Right. Okay, so do you see at the very bottom of the screen here? Let me pull this up, make this a little bigger. All right. At the bottom of the screen here, you see a toolbar. And mine just automatically opens up where this button has been pushed, but a lot of times for other people it doesn't. But if you click on this with the A with the underline, what that gives you is formatting options. So just like in Google Docs, right? You can change the font, you can change the size, you can make it bold, italic, underline, you can change the color, you can highlight things. There's a lot you can do, okay? So this is how you make your message look a little nicer, right? Formatting. All right, here is attach files. When I click on this, what this does is it opens up an entire box that says, this is all the stuff that's on my computer right now, okay? On my hard drive. So I can go ahead and let's see, I'm going to click on this one and this one. Oops, I'm sorry. Click on the arrow, and then I've clicked on the arrow there. And then at this point, what I can do is click on open. It's not going to open it. It's going to attach it. I don't know why it's open. It should just say attach. I'm going to click on open, and it goes below my signature. Okay, so there they are. If I want to dump them, I just click on the X next to it. So I'm going to dump this one. All right. If I want to attach something or insert something from Google Drive, there are a couple things I can do. So a lot of times I like to place my cursor somewhere where I actually want it to go. I'm going to click on Drive. Now, if you're not using Drive yet, still pay attention, because if you go through this all these sessions, we're hoping that you're going to be using Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Slides, all those things. And what I like about this box is I can go ahead and click on recent and find the files that I've been working on recently. Okay, so let's say I want this one to go. So all I have to do, I can double click on it, or I can click on it if I want to attach more than one, hold down the control key, and then click on another one. You notice both of them are blue, okay? That would not have happened if I'd held down control, if I hadn't held down control. If I hadn't held down control, here's one, and then see, so I'm gonna hold down control, the control key, bottom left-hand corner of your keyboard. Okay, now they're both blue, and I'm gonna click on insert. It puts them up here where I had my cursor. Okay, so that's that. While I'm here, I'm going to show you how to attach a photo. A lot of people like to be able to do this. So I'm going to click on the little photo here. This is oftentimes the logo that Google uses for photos of any kind. So I'm going to click here. Now, the first thing that opens up is anything that you have in your Google Photos. If you're not using Google Photos, Don't worry about it. Not a big deal. That's not a problem. Okay. And the same with albums. What I like is upload, which is the same thing as attaching a file. Okay. I can also drag photos here. The other thing that I like to do is if I find a photo online that I like and I want to put it in here, this is how you do it. I don't mess with this web address URL thing. I don't even mess with this whole entire box. This is what I do. I'm going to show you. I'm going to close this. I have my message open. I'm going to go ahead and go up here. I'm going to open a new tab. I'm not closing that other one. That's still open. I'm opening a new tab, and everyone knows I do this. I look for corgis. It's my favorite dog. And I'm going to click on images, right? Images. So here are some beautiful corgis. This is a gorgeous corgi right here in action with a tail. They don't always, a lot of times they bob their tails. I have a corgi with a tail. So I'm going to click here. So I've opened it up. I've made it bigger. That's first step. Second step is I'm going to right click on the picture itself. And I'm going to click on copy image. Now, when you copy things, you know, you're like, where'd it go? I don't know. You're just going to have to trust it. It's in the ether. It's there. Don't worry. It's there ready for you. I'm going to go back to Gmail. I'm going to put my cursor where I want the photo to go. Right click, paste. Dun, dun, dun. There's a corgi picture. Much easier than that other business. Also easier than this whole inserting image business, right? So there's that. Now it is 9:33. Let me see how much further I can get on this thing. Back here. Way to start your morning, right, folks? Okay. Next slide. I talked about inserting an image. Yay. Okay. Oh, last thing. Oh, so important. Wait. Oh yeah, last thing, and then we're going to open it up for questions. Okay, searching your inbox. This is a superpower. Google, of course, is fantastic for searching. That's what they do. So right up here, I'm just going to put it, I don't have to be even in my inbox. Search Gmail and chat. This is great. I can go ahead and put someone's name. I'm going to put in Darcy. D Long. There she is. I'm going to click here. And what it's going to do, it's going to bring up, it's going to be a lot. Anytime I have stuff that I've either sent to Darcy or received from Darcy, or Darcy and I are both in the message. So that could be a lot of things. What if I want to narrow it down? Maybe I want to see all the messages from Monday. Okay. Monday was the 11th. Yeah, 11th. So what I can do, there are a couple of things. Either I can use one of these buttons down here. That's fine, whatever. Or I'm going to click on this, which is called the caret. It's a little drop down. Like click on that, I get all these other choices. So I can tell it date within. I can either say I want it within 3 days, or I can say, I can click here and I can put in the actual date from the 11th. So put 1 day within the 11th, click on search. And then what it gives me are any of the ones within a day of the 11th, okay? You can make this as fancy as you want. You can do a lot of it. You can say, okay, but I only want to see the ones that have an attachment because I'm looking for a specific message. Search. Okay, there, it actually brings it way down, right? Okay, so that is search. You have to play with that. Play with that. Get to know it, because that is going to be your best friend. It's going to help you a lot. I am not the best person at getting organized, and that's why I'll be going to next week's Google for All session that Darcy is giving. That is for the next steps about getting organized and creating filters and all this other fancy stuff. So we're doing that next week. It is now 9:36. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the share. Going to open this up. We have 12 people. That's it. That's awesome. Actually, I think that's great. I'm going to make this so that you guys can all see each other. I've removed the spotlight now. Darcy, wasn't that cool? Okay. So we have very few people in here. If you have a question, please go ahead and you can go ahead and unmute yourself, or I may have to ask you to unmute yourself. Ask people to unmute themselves. So you can go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question. You can also, if you have your camera on, you can raise your hand. You can use the raise your hand thing that's within Zoom. But I'm open for questions now. So what kind of questions do you have? Go ahead, Jennifer. Hi.
Hi, Lori. So I have just a ton of undeleted messages. And I'm just wondering, is there a way to do more than like that are old, you know, that I know I'm never going to need?
Yep.
Like to do more than just 50 at a time?
Yes. So, ooh, maybe not. I think you can only do 50 at a time. You can only do 50 at a time.
Okay.
There are times when I'm more organized and I actually go through and I will delete like a whole year's worth, but I do go through it 50 at a time.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's too many. It's like an embarrassing amount.
I would say, you know, for yourself, like do it, like give yourself some time in the morning. It feels really good to delete messages. So that's kind of like a fun little morning thing. Like, okay, you get up, you know, you're ready for work and you go and you say to yourself, I'm going to delete 100 messages today. I'm going to delete 500 messages today, whatever it is. But it does help. I will tell you that, remember how I showed you click on the little boxes, right? But there's a box at the top that if you click on that box, it will select all of the messages on that page.
Okay.
So that makes it a little bit easier. You click on that box, you click on the garbage can. Then, you know, then it goes to the next page. Click on that box, click on the garbage can.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes it a lot faster than click.
Yeah, typically what I do is I'll select all of the messages and then I'll pick through and unselect the ones that, yes, I might want to review or keep later.
Yeah. Mr. Warren, you had a question. You need to unmute.
I was just going to say that what I typically do is I search on like maybe a person, or if you get, you know, we all get vendor emails, and you can search by that vendor, and just those emails from that vendor will come up, and then just delete all those. So that's another way you can approach the delete process.
Yeah, that's a good way too. I do that a lot too with dates. So I'll say to myself, stuff that's 6 months old, I don't really need that, right? So I try to delete from 6 months back, right? I'll do that too. And so you can search by date, right? Or, you know, large groups of dates, and you can just start doing it from that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Wow, this is quite the change. I had 180 people in my last session, so this is actually much nicer. 180 people is a little bit.
Good morning. I was in your meeting last Friday.
Yes.
And I love it. And I didn't know it was the same, but it was really good because it helped me to review what I saw Friday for that I stayed. So thank you very much, because I was grading because I'm old and I don't know about so much, you know, that young people knows, and I need to understand what they're doing.
It just takes practice, and it's always good to hear things more than once.
Yeah, thank you.
Teachers, reteaching is a good thing, right?
Yeah. Thank you, my friends. There are my teachers that I work with them. Hi, Diane. Hi, Jennifer.
Thank you for coming.
I was like, is that Maria? I was like trying to remember.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks.
All
right. Any other questions? Anna.
Yes. Can you go over how to put photos and images and all that on
Sure.
the email?
Absolutely. I can totally go over that again. Okay. So let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, going back to my inbox. All right, so if I want to put in a picture, so first I'm going to compose my message. You can also do this. This is also the same toolbar down here is also available in the reply box and the reply all and the forward and all that other stuff. Okay. So you just have to look for that. So there are a couple of things, and what I showed today was that if you click on this that says insert photo, right, it looks like a picture of mountains. What this does is it opens up a box, and there are 4 different ways for you to insert a photo. So it just really depends on where is this photo coming from. If this is a photo that is on your computer, it's on the hard drive, right? Then you're going to click on upload.
So how about if you're on your phone?
It.
If you're on your phone and it's from a text.
Ooh, okay. So if you are using so that becomes a little more complicated. Okay. Because you can do it from if you're using the Gmail app on your phone, that's a little bit easier because it's in the same place, right?
Okay.
But if it's on your, if you are trying to write this message, so if it's on a text, and I don't know what kind of phone you have, basically, I will tell you what I have done is that if I have it on a text, I save it to my photos on my phone, and then I email it to myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I'll have it on my computer. If you are into like doing some sort of cloud storage for your photos, Google Photos is great. It's also free. So you could use that as well. You could upload it to Google Photos and then it's there. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So that's another thing. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be doing any training on Google Photos.
Okay.
We could, I don't know. Darcy, we should think about that. So the other way to do it though is when you're adding a photo, if you're just adding a photo from the web, you can copy and paste it into your message. So, but yeah, when you have to kind of think about where is this photo and which device am I sending from? So there aren't many people in this group, and I do want to tell you that I do use the Gmail app on my phone.
Okay.
So you might want to think about doing that if there are a lot of photos on text that you want to send in a Gmail.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sure.